Can we zane it up with some Tainted Lost? Nope. Absolutely not. I can't believe, dude, we're going for 22 wins here. Can you believe this? I think there's something philosophical about where we're at with Isaac right now. We've won 22 times in a row. The banter's flowing. We're having fun. Instead of leaning into the fun and embracing it, people are always trying to go double or nothing. They're always like, sure, the runs have been fun. It's been great to have Isaac back on the stream. But what if you just risked throwing it all in the shitter? Why not? What if you just tweaked one thing to maybe make it so you don't enjoy playing the game again? Keep in mind, we went like 2 months without playing any Isaac at all. Comments were like, please, sir, just a wafer-thin crumb of Isaac. Well, you're getting more than a wafer-thin crumb now. You're getting, you know, it's like the thickness of a roti, I would say. And then they're like, oh, the roti's nice, but could I have some chutney to go with it? 6 weeks ago, you just wanted a crumb. Now you're asking for chutneys? I mean, come on. What's next? When I give you some chutney, you're going to be like, well, the chutney's good, but could you use real tamarind instead of the paste? And I'm like, what the hell, dude? It never ends. Emperor Tamarind? Don't talk to me about that guy, please. By the way, I'm sorry to tell you, I should say. I've been getting my butt kicked in the weekly on YouTube, and the only way that I can get to 10 wins on the weekly right now is with either a dog or a puppy. And I think in one run that I recorded, it actually required one of each. I'm a little embarrassed to say it. Free to play is impossible now. People got really good. Like, I was lamenting. And don't get me wrong, this is like, it's a bad look, but whatever, who cares? Honestly. I don't look at life as just having, you know, the most correct opinions as you can in a row and then immediately dying the next day. I miss when people were ass as Super Auto Pets and I was good. Those were the days, man. When I was the first person to play it, except for the 8 people who had left Steam reviews. And then everybody, like, we were back in the day where people would accidentally, like, put a B on a unit that already had melon armor and then be like, oh no! I miss that, dude. Those were the days. Remember when people used to, like, willfully use the horse? Those were the days. Now, in Super Auto Pets, everybody's a damn genius. You can also, dude, I didn't realize the state that Super Auto Pets was in. If you go to the Super Auto Pets subreddit, there are posts on the front page that are like, check out this 7-win run that I had. The weeklies are brutal. Like, it's becoming like TFT. People were like, I grinded for the whole day. I got one 7-win run. You can't... If you mess up with like a single gold in the first 2 rounds, you might as well just uninstall the app. Maybe I should just be thankful I'm kind of hanging in there. NL, have you watched Xavier Renegade Angel? Yeah, it's my favorite show. I've seen every episode of it. Have you seen Biblically Accurate Xavier Renegade Angel? It's so good. Yeah, it's my favorite show ever. Although I will say I don't like how they changed the way that his Halo works between the manga and the TV show. I understand why they did it, because it would be really hard to animate, but at the same time, I feel like personally I would have liked it if it was a more, like, authentic recreation of the way that it was in the manga. But again, you can't really complain when you happen to get stuff like this. You know, I'm just happy to be here. Just happy it exists. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. I don't know anything. Only anime I've ever watched in my life, Dragon Ball Evolution, starring Justin Chatwin, Emmy Rossum, and the guy who played Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's not an anime? Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Xavier Renegade Angel. Not an anime. Okay, what is it? Go ahead, tell me. It's an Adult Swim type show? Oh, so Ohio anime. Is it one of those shows where, like, you know what I'm gonna say, right? Like, Fox always, like, announces a show that's like, it's like, it's an animated show, and the gimmick is that all the people look like fucking shit. Like, all the people just look fucking disgusting and, like, bad. It's one of those? And they swear a lot? Yeah, that's... I mean, like, if there was a genre of media... And I haven't even seen, like, any of these shows, so this is not fair. But again, it's just my honest opinion. Nothing activates my haha cringe energy like an adult animated show about, like... grown-ups behaving badly. Like, ooh, you shouldn't do that. Like, I see it on Netflix now and then. There's the show advertised. It's called, like, Chicago Wine Ant. I'm gonna be honest with you, Netflix. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm never gonna watch that shit. I'm never gonna watch an animated show called Chicago Wine Ant, okay? I honestly, it could be the best show of all time. It could win, like, every Emmy for its entire duration. I would never watch it because I would have to look myself in the mirror every day and be like, I made the decision to watch a show called Chicago Wine Ant, where, like, there's a middle-aged lady, but she's not like normal middle-aged ladies, like, you know, Meryl Streep. She's pissing and shitting and drinking wine on her stoop and stuff like that. It's just, I just can't do it. I have to maintain some level of self-respect. Sorry, it's Chicago Party Ant. My mistake. Not Chicago Wine Ant. I'd like to apologize there. If anybody here works on Chicago Wine Ant, you're innocent. I still would not watch the show, but you haven't done anything wrong. Pyro? BoJack Horseman's different? Yeah, but BoJack Horseman is like, it's a show. Like, Chicago Party Ant, that's a tweet. That's not a show. I don't want to see this disgusting looking animated abomination behaving badly. Like, it's just disgusting. It's just deplorable that it exists in the first place. It just offends my sensibilities. I'm not offended by it. Although I will say I feel like the normalization of drinking culture among middle-aged women is, much like sports betting, is something that has crept in our society so slowly over time as to be insidious, but has very real effects. However, it's mostly just that I just can't believe that it got greenlit. Come on, man. It's wine o'clock. I'm on my soapbox again. Don't worry, it's on Netflix. It's canceled already. Dude, they fucking killed Archive 81. I say I'll never forgive them, but I will, you know, I mean, I just don't care that much, I guess. Archive 81 throughout, they had like a 8.5 out of 10 show. They said, okay, we're going to make the last episode a little ass just to set the bait for a cliffhanger for season 2 in the hopes that Netflix will pick us up. Netflix was like, oh yeah, you're canceled. And then they said, okay, well, maybe someone else will pick us up. Nobody did, so they just said they're not going to make season 2. So they got incepted into ruining their own show as a joke. They should just pre-cancel the show before it even airs now. It was a good show. It was you know, not the best show of all time. Obviously, that's Narcos. I mean, Money House, El Casa de Papel. There's just something about Netflix right now. They only greenlight. They're like, hey, Netflix, we have a show for you, okay? It's about cooking food with a blindfold on. Here's $100 million. Here's 9 seasons. Here's front page promotion. It's a show about baking cookies, but if you lose, you have to take an item of clothing off. It's called strip loin. At the end of the show, whoever is the most naked loses. Holy cow. Here's our entire free cash flow from 2021. Could I possibly... We'll put someone on this. I'm trying to think about who would be a great host for this. Alton Brown is busy doing 900 television shows right now where he doesn't pick up so much as a single spatula. He just, you know, looks good in a suit and tells me what the hell like a beurre blanc is. But that we can find somebody, don't get me wrong. Maybe like Alfonso Ribeiro, most famous for playing Carlton in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Then you go to Netflix and you're like, Netflix, hear me out here, okay? I have a show. You're gonna be really pissed off to begin with, okay? Because it's fiction. And then they're shuffling their papers. I'm out of here. Fiction? A story? I don't think so. And then you're like, wait, Reed Hastings, CEO of Netflix, don't go. Because it's a story of fiction about the Sinaloa drug cartel. And they're like, whoa! Here's $100 trillion. Would you like to use the Narcos branding for this completely unrelated... I think Netflix is like it's the terminus of algorithm-driven content design. Like they've turned Spider-Man versus Elsa content farming into like a multi-billion-dollar business. Because now it feels like the only shows that are on the platform are cooking reality television programs, HGTV knockoffs about like, you know, selling your house. Or they're not even about selling your house. Now it's just about real estate agents behaving badly while selling houses. It's like a Keeping Up with the Kardashians meets the Property Brothers sort of thing. And then shows about the Sinaloa drug cartel, and that's it. And Stranger Things, okay, and so Stranger Things is no longer my cup of tea, but they're trying. You're absolutely right. We've got to merge these ideas. What about a cooking show where the contestants cook crystal meth? That would be fantastic. Jesse. Dude, that could work as an SNL sketch, which is an insult, not a compliment, of course. But right after the sketch about how they try to get you to buy the special at the restaurant by spinning you a yarn, the chef got these rutabagas out of his own private penthouse garden. They were lovingly crafted with a Japanese katana folded 40,000 times. Pickled in a homemade vinegar the chef created himself from old red wine kept in oak casks. Oh, that sounds great. Anyway, we'll have 3 chicken sandwiches with curly fries, please. So right after that sketch, you could have Walter White is on Chopped with Jesse Pinkman, and they're cooking crystal meth. Your chefs, without further ado, please open up your mystery basket. Your ingredients: Sudafed DM, baking soda, lime, and chili pepper. You have 30 minutes. So immediately I'm thinking crystal meth, okay? So I know it's every time I watch this show, they're always like, I'm gonna make crystal meth. And I'm like, no, you don't have time. The ice cream machine always breaks. But here I am making crystal meth on Albuquerque Chopped. I don't know anything about crystal meth, by the way. Someone said you can't list the ingredients. It's against the American law. I don't know what's in crystal meth. Definitely some form of cold medicine, because that's why I'm no longer able to buy it at the grocery store without a permission slip from a doctor. I assume it has both baking soda and vinegar in it in order to give it that bubbling type reaction. Little chili pea. It's my ADHD meds plus 1 mystery ingredient. That must be true, right? That sounds true. Sounds pretty true to me. I mean, I saw an episode of the show Drugs, Inc., where a dude was making crystal meth in the woods. And, like, he was just... They were talking about this guy like he's, like, the Walter White of the Midwest, right? He was literally just, like, mixing shit with, like, a paper funnel and then putting it in 2-liter Sprite bottles and burying it next to a tree in the woods. And then coming back whenever it was done. So it can't be that hard. It's called science. I mean, it is science, no doubt about it. It's very scientific. The hard part is not getting caught. That's what I always wondered about, like, Drugs, Inc. Is, like, they always have the people on the show, they're in, like, you know, balaclavas and stuff like that. But they'll be rolling around town in a car with, like, a bunch of assault rifles in the back, talking about how they're gonna, like, kill anybody that messes with them. And, like, I'm never gonna get caught, I'm gonna live forever. And I'm like, well, you should have said no to HBO then. Like, the first step in remaining incognito, in my opinion, would be like when Drugs Inc. comes around and is like, hey, can we profile, like, the exact way that your operation works? I would be like, no, I think. How did HBO find them? I mean, the whole thing is very suspicious. I saw one where there was the guy was actually, like, smuggling drugs over the border. And even though, like, the guy's face is obscured, you're like, you still feel like you gotta be kind of an idiot to let a film crew dictate the exact way that you're able to smuggle this stuff across the border. Because if all it takes is, like, somebody seeing that and being like, hey, we're gonna, like, plug this hole. It's just seems very short-sighted to me. So I always thought that, like... Excuse me? I always thought that Drugs, Inc. seemed like... I don't necessarily think it's fake, because I think HBO has better standards than that, as long as you ignore Game of Thrones. Ooh! Finally. Finally, one good item. He's done it. You know what? I think I'm just taking my range upgrade. I'm out of here. Bet you wish you could have plugged your hole last week. It's not a joke. I definitely wish I could have plugged my hole last week, quite frankly. But I think Kate told me there's like a Korean medicine that you can get, and it's like little black beads basically. And when you drink them, it stops you from having, well, any bowel movement for a while. I don't know if it's like a psilocybin husk or whatever the heck it's called. Shungite. They were not anal beads, okay? That was cereal. I can't go through this room anymore, man. It's too much. No, I didn't eat it, but like honestly, I was kind of like interested in it because I was pooping too much. But then I also thought like, I mean, if there had just been a physical barrier to prevent me from passing like a bowel movement, I definitely would have like exploded and died. Like internally my colon would have ripped and I would have gone into sepsis and died for sure. There's no doubt about it. Like the pressure's got to go somewhere. Just take Imodium, man. So I consumed a lot of Pepto-Bismol last week and it didn't do anything. And I've taken Pepto-Bismol before and it has helped me out. Pepto-Bismol was not up to the task of this particular illness. My body just shrugged it off. Like the medicine had no effect. Did you at least enjoy the flavor? I'd say I got to sample the actual flavor of the Pepto for the first time. I had previously thought, because you know, you take like one serving of it once and you go like, you know, oh, that's kind of nice. I had thought that it was like a peppermint type flavor, but I really got to taste the cherry this time. It was nice. This man took too much Pepto-Bismol, and this happened. Stop shooting me. I wasn't sure what was happening there. I was glancing. No, I didn't get the classic Pepto-Bismol freak out, where you take Pepto-Bismol, then you poop and you look in the toilet and you're like, what the hell? Why is my poop pitch black? But honestly, like, nothing I saw in the toilet the past few days would have, well, like last week, I guess, would have shocked me. If you're having like a normal day and then you look in the toilet and you're like, that poop was weird, that's very scary. I was not having a normal day at any point in the past 7 days. I looked in the toilet and saw some messed up stuff. Saw some basket case type abominations in there. Just said, you know what? Flush it down. We go again in 2 hours. But we don't need to talk about it. Somebody brought it up, okay? If this bowl could talk, I'm thankful it cannot, for sure. Because it would definitely, it would be like, kill me. Kill me. Okay, take me out. Where were you on the Bristol chart? I mean, you know how the Bristol chart eventually gets to like things that mankind cannot draw with their hand? Like they can, it just looks like shading. We were in that range for sure. There was no point in using the Bristol stool chart for this. Indescribable horrors. Flushing you is complicated. Okay, classic, pretty humorous. Can we change the subject? Yeah, we can change the subject. Of course, of course. You got any ideas? Haven't really been up to that much. I'm not sure if you would glean that based on the fact that I've tried to talk for 30 minutes about how I watched Hall Pass last night. Worst fast food chain? I gotta be honest, all the fast food conversations have like left me by. They've passed me by. Because I would say since about... Basically since the end of college, I've only eaten at McDonald's. Hello. Okay, have fun. Bye-bye, love you. Like the only time I eat at a non... Oh, and Subway, sure. The only time I eat at a non-Subway or McDonald's fast food restaurant is like if I'm at an airport where there's no options. I will definitely say, though, that like... This is very Canadian. Tim Hortons is really bad. At least the last time I ate there, which was probably like, admittedly 7 years ago now. But Tim Hortons is unbelievably not good. It's road food. Yeah, but like when you have options. I mean, like the only time I've ever found myself going to a Tim Hortons since about like the year 2002, it's been like a Tim Hortons can only exist without competition. If you go to a place and it has a Tim Hortons and like a Wendy's, the Tim Hortons is going to have like 4 customers and the Wendy's is going to have like 1,000. The most popular Tim Hortons in my hometown has to be the one that's right next to the Greyhound bus station. Because, like, literally the buses leave at, like, 5:30 a.m. and it's the only thing within walking distance. That's the busiest Tim Hortons I've ever seen in my life. But if you ever have the other one, the Tim Hortons in the Biosciences Complex at Queen's University was always busy. So I think it was, like, the only coffee shop in the building. But then... as soon as you get to an area where you, like, if there's a Tim Hortons and a Starbucks and the McDonald's next door, I don't see that Tim Hortons doing anything, man. I will say, maybe this is like a bit of a hot take as well. I'm not necessarily like a Starbucks guy. I mean, really, like, I went through a period when the baby was first born, I was drinking as much coffee a day as I could get my hands on. And then, I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago, I got myself down to 1 coffee a day. I have 1 cold brew a day at home before the Peloton ride. And since then, my Starbucks consumption has fallen like 95%. I go like once every 3 months or something like that. I'm now free from the yoke, and I can tell you, for such a large company, like Starbucks is too large for their food to taste that mediocre. I've eaten the breakfast sandwiches. I've eaten the wraps. I've eaten the normal sandwiches. The company is too big to get a free pass for their food tasting like that bad. The Cubano sandwich is okay, but there's no reason for it to be 900 calories when it's not Jon Favreau level. But the breakfast sandwiches, man, I mean, if in a pinch, I wouldn't say no, but I mean, they don't hold a candle to the Egg McMuffin. And I think they might even be worse for you, which is kind of crazy. Burger King, I also always go to bat for as being insanely bad. But it is worth noting, before we, like, make enemies from people who love a char-broiled, tender crisp bacon cheddar ranch or whatever. I like some fast food that most conventional wisdom would tell you is really bad. I like a Subway from time to time. I like a KFC from time to time, though I only consume it, on perhaps a biennial basis. That's all I got. it is perhaps not fair because Burger King also maybe gave me my first case of food poisoning like 15 years ago. But the other thing is that I always feel like Burger Kings that I end up going to, because I never willfully choose to go to a Burger King, I only end up going under duress, which just compounds the amount of hatred I have for Burger King. Because the only other times that I'll go to a Burger King is when I have no options. Where do you have no options? U.S. terminal of the Vancouver International Airport. If you ever want to improve your perception of a restaurant, don't eat there while holding a 22-pound backpack at like 6:10 a.m. That's not a good way to engender positivity with an establishment. I also ate at a Burger King in San Francisco where I felt like for sure someone had died in the restaurant within the last 24 hours. Not outside of the restaurant, like within the confines of the lot. And then I don't know if anyone here is this Vancouver pilled, but maybe the last Burger King I ate at in my entire life was a Burger King on Upper Granville Street, which is like possibly the worst part of Vancouver. And I mean that almost literally. Like, it's so close to literal. In the party district on Granville Street, I had breakfast at that Burger King, and it was just the saddest restaurant I've ever been in. Like, the nicest thing I could say about that Burger King is it smelled like piss. And that's saying something. You're right, I should have had breakfast at Tiffany's instead. I think I remember the film. So I don't know if that's part of like Burger King's Canadian strategy, is like putting restaurants in distressed locations, but it's leading to me enjoying the product even less than I already do. Which is zero. I do have to admit their buns have seeds. I mean, it's just also like Josh really likes the Burger King breakfast, and it's just led to me underrating it even more. Because like Burger King's breakfast doesn't hold a candle to the McDonald's breakfast, man. I'm just sorry to say. The croissant doesn't touch an Egg McMuffin. It's not fit to carry a sausage and Egg McMuffin's book bag through the school halls. And don't even get me started on the little discs of potato. Versus a genuine McDonald's hash brown. Like, they're not even in the same ballpark. It's AHL versus NHL. Hold it right there, mister. I was hungover once and I pooped my pants in a Burger King, but it was nice because I just kind of walked out. See, that's the thing. They were probably like, oh my God, this guy must not be from around here. He shit his pants in the Burger King and left instead of staying for the rest of the day. We're so used to people coming into the restaurant, defecating in their own trousers and then just sitting in it for 12 hours. This guy's like, we got to award him like Customer of the Year. Anyway, we won again. Can you believe it? /marker Isaac 3. And then